everyone, welcome. So till now we had been talking about what is chemical reaction. We have already told that chemical reaction would mean that a reaction which is taking place using elements and compounds, so they will form some kind of product. So that is chemical reaction. So again we are yet in the chapter of chemical reaction. So we are yet in the chapter of chemical reaction here, and today in the chemical reaction that we will be going ahead is with types of chemical reaction. Our topic for the day is types of chemical reaction. Okay, so these are the types of chemical reactions we will have. So one by one we will go ahead and see what are the different types of chemical reaction we have. The first one type of chemical reaction that we will be studying is about combination reaction. The word itself says you what is combination reaction. That means if I have some element called an X and there's another element or compound Y, this will combine to form something XY. So that is combination reaction. So herein what we will have, if I say you, as I told you, there is some X which is going to combine with Y to form XY, right? This is what I said to you. For example, let me say magnesium plus oxygen will combine and form MgO, right? So just balancing the equation. So that means some elements or compounds, they will combine and they will form a single product, and that is when I say combination reaction is taking place. All right. Now, if combination reaction occurs, the opposite of it will occur, which is known as decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction would mean what? As I told you, just the opposite. Just the opposite means what? I will have something XY which will dissociate to form X plus Y, right? So just the opposite will happen. That is decomposition reaction. So that means here what is happening? In this case, what is happening is, for example, let me take an example. Okay. Okay. I can give it as FeSO4, which will give Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3. That means FeSO4 is dissociating itself into three separate compounds. So that is where I tell it is a decomposition reaction. So we told combination reaction, just the opposite of it, decomposition reaction. Now, these kinds of reactions, this decomposition reactions, they can be of different types of decomposition reaction. How is the decomposition taking place? So I can have another example. Water forms H2 plus O2. This is also getting decomposed. That is, decomposition reaction is taking place. And, I can have something like very common silver bromide getting converted to silver plus bromine. So that is also one kind of reaction that will take place. So what are the different types of decomposition reaction that would take place? So the different types of decomposition reaction is, first one It is completely depending on how is the decomposition reaction taking place. So that will, a first type of reaction that will happen is, okay, let me be here. First types of decomposition reaction that I'm talking about is because of heat. So I name is thermal decomposition reaction. Thermal decomposition reaction. So that is because of some kind of heat that has been done. So FeSO4, if you heating, then it is forming Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3. That is thermal decomposition reaction when you are using heat to decompose. Next, the other form of reaction that I have is if I am sending some kind of electricity. So electrolytic decomposition reaction. So that means what? When I am passing some kind of electricity. So here water, if you pass electricity, it is going to convert into H2 plus O2. So that is electrolytic decomposition reaction. The next one I have is photochemical decomposition reaction. So what is photochemical reaction? Decomposition reaction if I am passing sunlight and the decomposition is taking place. Silver bromide. So it gets converted to silver and bromine because of sunlight. So that is when I say it is a photochemical photochemical decomposition. And also when I'm saying thermal decomposition, so what am I doing? I am giving heat. So this is kind of endothermic reaction. When I say endothermic reaction, there is something called as exothermic reaction wherein heat is being produced. So if I have calcium oxide plus water, in this case, this forms CaOH twice. So, and this produces some amount of heat. So this is an example of exothermic reaction. This is an example of exothermic reaction. Alright. So now, coming to next type of reaction. Next type of reaction is what? I have got oxidation reaction. Oxidation reaction would mean what? Would mean, as the name states, oxygen is being added. Number one is addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Just the opposite is oxidation is reduction. Reduction reaction, what do we have? Here, removal of oxygen and or addition of hydrogen will take place. So I will say both together. So oxidation reaction, what do I have? I will have some copper plus oxygen will give copper oxide. Again, whenever I write, I need to balance it. So what is happening? Addition of oxygen is taking place. So I say this is oxidation reaction. Alright, copper plus water. So what is happening? Oxygen, removal of oxygen is taking place. So I say this is reduction reaction. This is reduction reaction. Okay. So now we will be going ahead with the fifth kind of reaction, and this fifth kind of reaction is known as redox reaction. Redox reaction would mean what? Redox reaction means somewhere reduction is also taking place and oxidation is also taking place. So this is a combination of reduction and oxidation. So herein it is very important that I understand within this reaction which agent is reducing and which agent is oxidizing. Alright. So now if I talk about redox reaction, here the first thing I can take an example and I can state it as CuO plus H2 gives Cu plus H2O. So this is the reaction that we have taken. So once we have taken this reaction, I should understand which is oxidizing and which is reducing. Now if you see that hydrogen is getting an oxygen, very easy. So here oxidation is taking place. Whereas copper is losing an oxygen. Copper is losing an oxygen. Right? So herein I will say that so copper oxide, it is losing an oxygen. So I'll say here reduction is taking place. Right? Here reduction is taking place. So now what will I say? If oxidation is taking place, hydrogen to water. So here oxidation is taking place. Right? So here there are two concepts that we have to understand. If we understood what is reduction, we understood what is oxidation. Right? Now, the substance which gives oxygen or gains hydrogen, or that which itself, which is reduced, is the oxidizing agent. So wherever reduction is taking place, you should know it is the oxidizing agent. And where oxidation is taking place, that is a reducing agent. Alright. So when I said reduction is taking place, whose reduction is taking place? CuO. So CuO is losing an oxygen. So this is the oxidizing agent. Hence it is getting reduced. H2 is gaining an oxygen. So H2 is the reason why reduction is taking place. So that is reducing agent. So in this case, what is happening? So as I told you, the one which is getting reduced, you find reduction is taking place in CuO. Reduction is taking place in CuO. So CuO will become my oxidizing agent and H2 will become my reducing agent. Alright? Okay. Next. So this is the fifth form of reaction that we have. Next we have two kinds of reaction. One is displacement reaction and double displacement reaction. So sixth kind of reaction that we have is displacement reaction and double displacement reaction. So what is happening in displacement reaction? If there is a combination of X, Y, or if I have something that is being like this, let me say you. If I have something like AX plus B, this will get changed to A plus BX. That is displacement reaction, right? So that is displacement reaction. Like ferrous sulfate plus copper will give you copper sulfate plus iron. So you just take, some so if you take some iron filings and dip it in copper sulfate solution, you will get it. So there will be a deposition of copper that will be taking place. So this is a kind of displacement reaction will take place. Similarly, in double displacement, what is happening? They will just change its place. X will go for Y and Y will go for X. So that is like how will we have. So this kind of reaction wherein sulfate, which was sodium sulfate, this went for barium, barium sulfate, and chlorine, which was there with barium, went to sodium and become sodium chloride. So this is double displacement reaction. Okay. So this is what we call it as double displacement reaction. So these are the different types of reactions which is there. Okay. Now, if I tell you this had been the kinds of reaction, then what is the effect of this? So if I tell you, we always say no oxidation, don't keep the fruits outside, it will get oxidized. There will be some kind of brownish thing that would occur. So all those things that will take place when we say that, the food will become bad, don't keep it outside. So this kind of things will occur. So now we are coming to what we call it as effects of oxidation, and this is the last topic of this particular chapter. Effects of oxidation. First and foremost, what I will say, we already have seen that there will be, as I was telling you, the food. Rancidity. Rancidity means what? Oxidation of oils or fats in the food, resulting in bad smell or taste. So if you have a food which is kept outside for a long time, you will have it a bad smell or a bad taste. This is known as rancidity, and it basically happens with food with oils and fats. Okay. So basically, how to avoid this rancidity? This rancidity can be avoided by using antioxidants. That is some kind of reducing agents. So you will find chips being put in packets filled with nitrogen or all those. So for the chips, you will find so that they are kept for a very long time. So that is one way. Or packaging in airtight containers. If you have, we always package in Tupperware or something like that where it is airtight container so air doesn't enter and we can keep it for a very long time. Okay. Okay. Then after that, keeping vegetables and fruits in fridge. So refrigerating is also one way of reducing rancidity. And again, I was telling you flushing with nitrogen gas. So that is also a way of reducing rancidity. Okay, you will find frozen meats and all that is kept by flushing it with nitrogen. Okay, then another effect of oxidation is what? Corrosion. Your window panes getting corroded and all those things, basically metals with oxygen. So that is happening. So corrosion is happening. So this we can avoid by painting, greasing. So all this are galvanizing. So all this are ways to avoid corrosion. So this is it with the topic of chemical reactions and its effects. Thank you.